Hello and welcome. My name is Zaffar Iqbal and you are watching the Mojo Story. Shashi Tharoor's relationship with the Congress party has grown increasingly awkward. Now, it's marked by public snubs, internal criticism, and speculation over his political future. After praising Prime Minister Modi's foreign policy moves post Operation Sindhu, remember he was leading one of that delegations you can see on those visuals, which he insists was in national interest, not political endorsement. Now, Tharoor drew fire from party leaders, including Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge, who has accused him of putting Modi before the country. Now, there has been a cryptic bird themed social media post as a response to party detractors, only that has deepened speculation of a rift, which is already very much there. And also, he was listed as a star campaigner for the Kerala bypolls, but he denies that he has been given any indication to campaign for that bypoll election. To understand the situation, we're joined today by an eminent panel. We're joined by Madhavan Narayanan, a senior journalist, and we're also joined by Rahul Easwar. Welcome to Mojo Story, Madhavan, Rahul ji. If I may start with you, Madhavan ji, what does Tharoor's growing discomfort within the Congress party tell us about the state of inner party democracy and dissent in India's main opposition party? The way this entire thing has been handled, Shashi Tharoor seems to be a darling of the government. They made him lead that delegation after Operation Sindoor, but he is facing criticism from his own party.
Actually, I'm not surprised at all. I don't know why people tend to blow up these Congress party issues. I was just, let us contrast it with the BJP. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy has been a minister in the past, cabinet minister, and he is also one of the most vocal critics of Narendra Modi. And if you go to Instagram right now and see his profile, it very clearly says member BJP. Okay.
Yes.
Earlier, if we in the media have to be truly objective and balanced, we should discuss Subramaniam Swamy the way we discuss Shashi Tharoor. I'm not saying we should not discuss
Right.
Shashi Tharoor. I'll come to Tharoor. I'm just saying we should first begin to examine ourselves in the media as to why we blow up problems in one party but not in the other party. No legacy media. In fact, the word mainstream and media has ceased to exist because it is no longer mainstream as it used to be. People are following Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube, even stand-up comedians. So that has also changed in the country. We have to take a note of everything, the full context. When we take a note of the context, we will find that both the media and politics are not what they used to be. So coming to Tharoor, the important point is that all said and done, if Subramaniam Swamy is important, so is Shashi Tharoor. He is not only a former minister, he is also has held very prestigious offices. He was running for the Secretary General of the United Nations, and therefore he's been certainly underutilized in the Congress party. The Congress can be criticized on various fronts.
Yeah.
But they should be legitimately criticized on grounds of competence, because the same yardsticks can be applied to the BJP or, for that matter, any party.
Right.
Now, Tharoor's problem now.
Yeah.
Now, let me first. I think Rahul will perhaps be able to say more on the other part of the story, which is very Kerala centric. Some of the issues are related to personality. Some of the issues are related to compulsions of politics. I'm merely analyzing things. Let us not behave like the stupid channels.
Right. Exactly.
On TV, let us analyze it clinically. First is personality. The other is the compulsions of politics. Third is statecraft or statesmanship of country as a whole and above party politics. Fourth is the details of what is going on in terms of the exact proceedings without exaggeration or misinterpretation.
Yeah.
These are four ways I would analyze this. So the first is the fact is that personality-wise, Shashi Tharoor is a flamboyant, articulate person. Therefore, people like to discuss him the way we discuss Virat Kohli
Yeah.
or uh, Rohit Sharma or Shah Rukh Khan. So he is the closest that a politician in India now comes to a Bollywood star.
Right.
From
Right.
looks to style and everything.
Yeah.
Having said that, let me turn the whole game around. We have to ask
Yeah.
a question: has BJP's talent famine in foreign policy gone so acute that it relies on a Congress leader because it doesn't have anybody in its own ranks to be so competent?
Yeah.
I said on your show with Barkha a few days
Yeah.
ago that Jaishankar is very good, but he's a very serious person. And
Right.
his character, his style of speaking is not of a typical diplomat. If you notice,
Yeah.
it's very difficult for him to be humorous. He also
Right.
tends to stutter,
Yeah.
although he's very good. So, just as I'm looking at it like a movie director, is this person the best one for the role? So, BJP has to ask instead of asking why is Shashi Tharoor, whether Shashi Tharoor is going towards the BJP, we have to ask is the BJP so short of talent that it has to borrow people from the Congress? That is one question.
Let's ask Rahul Ishwar. Let's ask Rahul Ishwar precisely this: that is there a talent shortage in the BJP that they are really focused on Shashi Tharoor, despite Congress not naming him as part of the delegation because they had to put out a list. They did not name him. The government still went ahead and made him lead one of the delegations. What is the problem here? What is the problem with the BJP, that they are short of talent or what?
Two submissions. I agree with Narayanan sir. Every party is internal, they have squabbles. So we need to
Yeah.
discuss, giving the right presentation. That's the right way to go ahead. Second, with due respect to Congress, there is an aspect that Congress is not able to internalize the center right, if I can use that word, center right leaning leaders in the proper way. If you check the Independence Times, we can see Mahatma Gandhi was the great centrist, and the two hands, the left leaning was Pandit Nehru, and the right leaning was Sardar Patel. That's the reason why Sardar Patel was always soft on RSS. Even at one point of time, told RSS guys to join the ministry, or that point of time, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. So the right-leaning spectrum was managed by Sardar Patel in a big way. The left-leaning spectrum was managed by Nehruji in a big way, Gandhiji being the great unifier. But after the time of Mahatma Gandhi, assassination of Mahatma Gandhi by a Hindutva hard right-winger, God say, and the unfortunate death of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Congress has not been able to internalize or accommodate the right-leaning leaders, or the soft Hindu, not soft Hindutva, but soft Hindu right-leaning leaders in a big way. There is always that issue. For example, Pranab Kumar Mukherjee, when the Shankaracharya was arrested, according to his own autobiography, says, he went to an extent of saying that, what happens, has India's secularism come to such a level that a Shankaracharya is arrested on a Diwali? So the right-leaning space, I believe Congress, the grand old party of India, should be accommodating more. Shashi Tharoor's politics is very clear. He is a very liberal, progressive, all the other secular person, but he wants to also cater to the center-right space, which is a very
Yeah.
prominent space. That majority is the Hindu forward communities and all. And even in Trivandrum, where I stay, where Shashi Tharoor sir is our MP, the Nair population, the Hindu forward caste population, is very strong. They are one of the crucial influential factors. So Tharoor sir wants to balance this in a much more way, rather than the classic left liberal attitude that they have. Shashi Tharoor wants to balance this. Of course, the balance of Nair plus the coastal fisherman Latin Catholic vote plus the conventional Muslim vote Congress is getting. This is the winning equation of Shashi Tharoor sir. So Shashi
Yeah.
Tharoor sir wants to play the centrist, center-right liberal in a big way. For example, when during the Shabarimala agitation, he was first against Shabarimala. So I wrote a scathing letter to Shashi Tharoor saying that, you have forsaken us. You may be a so-called cosmopolitan, the global
Yeah.
person, but you are not taking care of citizens. He was kind enough to respond by saying, I will definitely consider it, and he nuanced and pivoted his position. But I
Right.
genuinely believe Congress should let Shashi Tharoor continue in this way, because it will be politically beneficial for Shashi Tharoor and for large spectrum India, where a center-right leader, secular, pluralistic, humanistic, whatever you want to call, can also be there. Pranab Kumar Mukherjee used to do this. He went to the RSS Karyalaya, spoke about Hedgewar ji being the great son of India. Indira Gandhi ji, to an extent did this during her days where Veera Savarkar's stamp was released.
Yeah.
So there is a politics, genuine politics, not the petty politics. Politics being Shashi Tharoor sir's positioning. Either Congress is not able to accommodate nor
Yeah.
understand the nuance of it. This is a serious challenge that's happening, but I don't think he will leave Congress
Why
for
why
sure.
why isn't Congress flexible? That's what you're asking. Let us, Madhavan, I'll come to you, but let us first hear uh, Mallikarjun Kharge when he was specifically asked about Shashi Tharoor in a press conference. This was his response. We'll get some sense what is Congress thinking about it.
अंग्रेजी मेरे को पढ़ने बड़ा नहीं आता, उनकी लैंग्वेज बहुत अच्छी है, उसीलिए तो हम पार्टी में उनको वर्किंग कमेटी मेंबर बनाया है। तो लेकिन मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि पूरे लोग, अपोजिशन के पूरे लोग मिलके हमने कहा कि देश की आर्मी के साथ है, जो हमारा आर्मी लड़ रहा है उसके साथ है। तो इसीलिए पहला आवाज मैंने उठाया गुलबर्गे के पत्रकार परिषद में। हम बोले कि देश बड़ा है सबसे, देश के लिए हम सभी लोग मिलके काम करेंगे, पार्टी बाद, देश फर्स्ट हमने कहा। वो अब चंद लोग ऐसा कहते हैं मोदी फर्स्ट देश बाद, तो अब हम क्या करें उसको।
मोदी फर्स्ट, देश बाद में। Madhavan ji?
Let me specifically respond to Rahul Easwar. I completely agree with him. Let me first say, conceptually, I agreed with him, but I would disagree on two factors. One is that the centrist position, which he thought was held only by Mahatma Gandhi, was also held by Nehru. He managed to do that. Except, for instance, he dismissed the Namboodiripad government in 1957 Kerala, on which Rahul knows more than I do. So he was seen as anti-communist by the leftists. At the same time, his license permit Raj was very kind to the Tatas and Birlas,
Right.
which made him pro-business. So he managed to, in fact, Dr. Rajni Kothari has his famous PhD thesis on this. I have a master's degree in political science. I've studied this. So that apart, but after that, progressively after coming of Indira Gandhi, and then Rahul. Rajiv, and then under Sonia, increasingly the space for the center right has definitely shrunk in the Congress. We either have people like Murli Deora who are pro-industrialist more than right.
Yeah.
They are more on the right wing of the business rather than conservative thought process. Suddenly one day Rahul Gandhi got up and said, "I'm a Shiv Bhakt." So occasionally they make these small inconsistent sort of imagery, but otherwise I agree with Rahul on this. But it is very significant today that Abhishek Singhvi has tweeted against Zoran Mamdani, which is very, very significant.
Yeah.
Is asserting itself slowly, but just that. If you take today as an example, Congress has much talking against Modi, but he is seen as a gadfly or the oddball. He's not even seen as a dissident. He's not even seen as a maverick. He's seen as somebody who's sort of pariah, ostracized. And therefore, BJP today is behaving, we have to discuss Lalu and even Kharge said there is undeclared emergency. I don't know. I have lived through the emergency in Delhi, and I can tell you that although there is no emergency now, some of the stylistics remind you of emergency only. Today Kharge said people said think Modi is bigger than the country, but we had Devkant Barua, was the president of the Congress party, said Indira is India, India is Indira.
Right.
So a lot of behavior today is reminds me of the emergency. I'm just being objective. Having said that, let me say the Congress looks vague, but you have to give credit to Kharge. Kharge's language was very careful. In fact, today we should appreciate the fact that there are leaders like Kharge who do not cross a red line in use of language.
Right.
Whereas the same Shashi Tharoor was described by Narendra Modi as having a 50 crore girlfriend. by the
Right.
same Modi. Why are we journalists having such a, today journalists are famous for short tempers and long memories, whereas the real journalists will have long memory and throw something out of the cupboard. So
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is also not so. But having said that, the right space has shrunk within the Congress because, and the BJP is bowling googlies after googlies. Yesterday, I was at a
Right.
book launch on Sugata, Srinivasa Raju's book on the emergency, which is an excellent book. And Neeraj Chaudhary put it very well. He says, we never used to call this as, I'm using this opportunity, Zafar, to discuss not just Tharoor, but the political culture of this country, because
Right.
Tharoor is only an individual. Now, there was this discussion where Chaudhary very rightly said in the 1980s or 70s, Constitution was never described as Ambedkar's Constitution.
Yeah.
Everybody from V.P. Menon to Shama Prasad Mukherjee to Rahul is seen as a right leaning. But we all agree on facts. We can't disagree on facts. There was a time when Constitution was seen as a team effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it's a constitution.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be just somebody's pamphlet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now today, why are we calling it as Ambedkar's
Yes.
constitution? Because
Yeah.
BJP wants to appropriate Ambedkar away from Congress because the traditionally or the two legs on which Congress's vote bank stood was Dalits and minority Muslims. So by taking away shaking the Dalit leg by projecting Ambedkar upwards, because there's a new generation of 65% of India's population below the age of 30.
Absolutely.
For them, there is no memory of even emergency. How will they remember Ambedkar? So they will believe whatever is said loudly. The disagreement between Ambedkar and others in Congress and the right wing. People have forgotten that there was a siege of parliament by anti-cow slaughter activists. So there's a lot in this country that needs to be recalled, but that is not being done. And therefore, BJP is playing its googlies very well, and Shashi Tharoor is part of the googly strategy, like Ambedkar. That means you call a googly and embarrass the Congress and isolate the Congress from exploiting its traditional vote basis. And Congress has not managed to come up with a strong enough response yet. But the caste census, I think, is something we need to watch out for. Bihar election is something to watch out for. This I'm discussing the political compulsion. Having said that, let me say in politics, nobody is going to is rare to find any party opposing the supporting the opposition. When BJP was in the supporting the ruling party. When BJP was in the opposition and Narendra Modi was in the opposition, he did not play the national game.
Yeah.
So he wants the Congress to be national, but BJP itself was not nationalistic enough to support Congress on critical issues when UPA was in power. So, everybody loves to be nationalistic when they are in power. But partisan
that is the nature of politics. Rahulji, coming back to Tharoor, is this Congress is being too insecure to tolerate independent voices, or is this Tharoor also deliberately playing both sides?
Audio problem.
No, I know. I definitely think Congress is the Big Ten party, as you call it. Congress is rather a movement, or it arose from a movement. It should be the Big Ten party. For a proper right-leaning party, we have BJP. Especially in Kerala context, for a proper left, we have CPI and CPM. In the national context, AAP can take that left space in a big way. So Congress should be the unifier, the so-called centrist, where a center-left and center-right is accommodated. See, I'm a Hindu right-wing activist, but sometimes it is hilarious for me to see my own brothers in right-wing spectrum over-loving Ambedkar and deriding Gandhiji, just because they want to accommodate the Dalit votes in a big way. So these are all political compulsions. But I think Congress should be the unifier, the so-called centrist, where a center-left and center-right is accommodated.
Yes. Can you hear me, Madhavanji?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Thank you. Yeah.
So I was, there was some internet problem briefly in between, so I couldn't hear Rahulji. But I wanted to ask about this birds. This Shashi Tharoor putting out a post with a bird and talking about sky
Am I
and
audible?
freedom.
Am I audible? Sorry.
Yes, Rahul, you're
Yeah.
audible. We lost you briefly. Perhaps it's internet problem from my side or from
Sorry
your
about
side, but I was not able to hear you.
I'm
But I
not.
was asking
So,
Madhavanji that, about that bird post and that Congress, coming back with its post, with showing a
correct.
set of birds, predatory birds, then talking about predatory birds. What do you say about, what do you think about this birds analogy that has been exchanged here?
See,
Yeah.
to talk to
Yeah. I think, yeah, is a question for me or
Yes,
Rahul?
yes. Let Madhavanji speak, then we'll come back to you, Rahul. Yeah. See, he says,
Yeah.
don't ask permission to fly. Now, this is
I
Shashi
have.
Tharoor's post. And then there is a birds of prey. There are 6 type of birds that have been shown. And then there is a proper description given to that.
I think it's interesting, Zafar, that instead of discussing ideology, we are discussing ornithology, which is the study of bird watching. But let me put it very well. It's nice to see some good humor in India's Twitter and all that, because otherwise, India has become
Yeah,
less of a humorous country in politics these days. So it's good
yeah,
to see something that vaguely reminds us of the Nehru Lohia days or the days when we had
yeah,
constitutional assembly with people like H.V. Kamath. So,
yeah,
having said that, let us look at it this way. There was a source-based report in a newspaper saying that the
yeah.
Congress's style is to allow Shashi Tharoor a long rope with which to hang himself. In other words, they
Uh,
are not going to make him a martyr by expelling him. And having said that, let me also record it for that both neither the Congress leadership nor Tharoor has said anything that could be called indisciplined or indecent in this
right.
whole. But I think it is very correct for Congress to gently allude to birds of prey, because the point is that is Shashi Tharoor is he being used by the BJP or is he using the BJP? So this is
Yes,
becoming like a soap opera in which this torrid affair, you don't know who's being unfaithful. Is the BJP being unfaithful to Jaishankar, or is Shashi Tharoor being unfaithful to Congress? Is something that we have to decide. But I like the idea of discussing birds in a metaphorical sense,
yeah,
because it does not cross the red line. But
yeah,
I think it is equally important for that's why I said one of the 4 aspects I mentioned was, apart from political compulsion of not being able to praise anybody in the rival party, there is also the compulsion of understanding the larger picture, which is why Congress talks about the skies. The big picture is
right.
whether Modi is a statesman that Shashi Tharoor alludes him to, or is Shashi Tharoor missing the bigger picture of, in the context of everything from one nation, one election to the style of operation to widespread allegations of undeclared emergency? Is there something which is that Tharoor has to be cautious about? But having said that, there are issues related to both the center-right ideological issues.
Right.
I have also family connections with where Rahul and Shashi Tharoor come from. So if you go to the fort area of Trivandrum, you'll find it's a very Hindu area. And Shashi
Right.
Tharoor has even written a book called "Why Am I a Hindu?" And
Yes.
he wears his Hinduism on his sleeves, like the nice mark from the Padmanabha Swami temple in Trivandrum.
Yeah.
So that goes against the very typical Congress style of being a in-your-face, secularist in a very conventional left sense, not even liberal, but occasionally somewhat liberal, but left. So that's something for Congress to ponder over, because Congress has historically been a centrist party, which is mystically turning right or left according to the situation. That reverse sweep is now missing in Congress's party's array of shots,
Right. You
because
keep on giving these
unlike
cricket
they have to
analogies.
get a swish of punch.
Madhavanji, you keep on
Yeah,
giving these cricket analogies in all the discussions, that makes it very interesting.
yeah. But so to cut the long story short, I think Congress is losing some of its mojo, which is to borrow your own channel's name.
Right,
And
right,
I think this should be treated by everybody as a moment of introspection. BJP to ask whether it is being earned itself the non-partisan party line. Are they using non-partisan game to be partisan? And is Congress missing the wood for the trees?
Right.
All these are questions. I'm happy that we are discussing this today because the legacy media has stopped asking questions
Right.
unless you put cheap accusations of
Yeah.
incompetent or loud people as
Yeah.
meaningful analysis.
And we
So I think we have to.
try and have these intelligent discussions where there is just an exchange of ideas, not just tutu meme, which serves no purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's also Sukhdev Bhagat, Congress leader, who has spoken about this. Let's hear. That's also a very interesting soundbite that we want to play here.
कांग्रेस के बन चुके हैं जिसे आप लोग ना छूना चाहते हैं ना छोड़ना चाहते हैं।
देखिए, मैं कहूँ कि मैं जिस आसमान का उन्होंने जिक्र किया है तो मैं उसी आसमान की बात करता हूँ। बहुत सारे अपने पतंगे देखे जो आसमान मुड़ता है, जब काफ़ी ऊंचाई पे पतंग चली जाती है तो उसे गुमान होता है, अहंकार आ जाता है कि मैं तो इतने ऊंचाई में हूँ। लेकिन जब पतंग की डोर कट जाती है तो ज़मीन पे आ गिरती है, तब उसे एहसास होता है कि डोर किसी और के हाथ में था। और इसलिए मैं कहूँ कि जो कांग्रेस की डोर है, कांग्रेस की जो चीज़ें हैं, उसकी नीतियाँ हैं, वो ज़रूर चाहे कोई कितने भी ऊंचाई पे चले जाएं, उसे उस डोर को समझना होगा।
तो डोर क्या खड़गे साहब के हाथ में है, राहुल जी के हाथ
कांग्रेस के हाथ में, कांग्रेस के विचारधारा के हाथ में डोर है।
कट भी सकती है वो।
मैं कटने और उसकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ। मैंने कहा कि एहसास दिलाने की बातें हैं कि आप उस डोर को समझे, जिस डोर के माध्यम से जिस ऊंचाई पे आप हो।
When a kite flies high, but the door is in the hands of the Congress party, is it in the hands of Kharge or is it in the hands of Rahul Gandhi? Nobody knows, but it's in the hands of the Congress party. This is also an interesting soundbite that I wanted to be played on this show. But Rahulji, would BJP supporter genuinely welcome somebody like Tharoor, multilingual, globalist, liberal, or would his ideology clash so much with BJP's cultural core?
Two aspects for that. One, the centrist or more moderate BJP people will be very welcoming towards Shashi Tharoor, but the a bit more right, hard right or strong right would be against him, saying the all pluralistic kind of thing. So as we all know, there are, at least in posturing, two different sect of BJP leaders. For example, people like Modi ji. I always call him Modi ji, and I'm a huge fan of Modi ji. Modi ji is a Gandhian definitely, except when it is elections. When it is elections, Modi ji goes back to the old mode. He promotes Kerala story, he promotes Kashmir files in a big way. But when there is no election, he goes back to the Gandhian mold. So I really like that Modi ji more. So let's be honest regarding this. Modi ji wants to rule in the center right, but Modi ji wants to energize the ultra right or hard right by using rhetoric in one way or the other. That's the reason why the Mangala Sutra kind of comments come in, which I don't think his well-meaning supporters would ever support. But no, Shashi Tharoor will appeal to those people who will definitely appeal to the people like Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji. So Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji and Shashi Tharoor ji was classing last point of time. It was clash of titans in that way, something like a Sachin versus Lara in a positive way. And Shashi Tharoor really had to sweat it out to win. Even though I'm an admirer of Shashi Tharoor ji, he really had to sweat it out. So, but I don't think Shashi Tharoor sir will go to BJP. Let's be honest regarding this. One, he's 70 years old. He can definitely try to become the CM of Kerala, but the ground support is very less, especially the other three Nair candidates. Nair Hindu candidates are Sri Ramesh Chennithala, who is the senior most, who has a very legitimate claim, Sri V.D. Sadishan, who emerged much stronger after the Nilambur by poll. He is a strong competition. And you have K.C. Venugopal, who is the conscience keeper of Rahul Gandhi in a big way. So right now, Sri Shashi Tharoor has fallen out of favor. That's a fact. But earlier, or even the community support Shashi Tharoor to be a big way. For example, Muslim League is in support of Shashi Tharoor. The churches are in support of Shashi Tharoor. The very powerful NSS or the Nair Service Society, the Forward Caste Hindu organization, is very much in support. So it will be Shashi Tharoor's next best hope is becoming Kerala Chief Minister, which right now is seemingly very impossible. Let's be very honest with it. Right now, there is very little chance because the ground level Congress supporters are not with him. But Shashi Tharoor wants to be that centrist politician in a big way, where Kerala has 27 to 29% Muslim community votes, and there is a very left liberal mindset of Kerala. So that mindset doesn't accept Shashi Tharoor playing to the so-called soft right gallery. Shashi Tharoor on a national level, it will appeal really well, but in Kerala corner, it is having some kind of issues, especially with the 27 to 29% Muslim community votes, and also to the left liberal mindset. The general mindset of Kerala is left liberal in that sense. So there are some issues.
Madhavanji, you want to come in? Last word to you before we
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Yeah, I think two things. One is that, about Manmohan Singh, it was said he was an economist among politicians and politician among economists. So about
You're
Shashi
right.
Tharoor, I would say he's a liberal among right wingers and he's a right winger among liberals. Therefore, this is a unique position he enjoys. But sometimes when you're in that middle position, it's very difficult to go too far. And therefore, apart from the fact that he will be ruffling feathers in the BJP, the question to ask is, will he himself be able to do it? And let me end the program, if you think I'm having the last word, by quoting the famous Jagjit Singh ghazal. So it's not always cricket that I use as a metaphor.
Yeah. Yeah.
तो बात निकली है तो दूर तक तलक जाएगी. तो उसमें इसे उंगलियां उठेंगी सूखे हुए बालों की तरफ, एक नजर देखेंगे गुजरे हुए सालों की तरफ, चूड़ियों पे भी तंज किए जाएंगे, कांपते हाथों का भी जिक्र मतलब व्हाटएवर अभी याद नहीं आ रहा. बातों बातों में मेरा जिक्र भी लाएंगे, लोग जालिम है हर बात का ताना देंगे. The people are so
cruel,
so wretched that they will mock you for everything. बातों बातों में मेरा जिक्र भी ले आएंगे. So Shashi Tharoor has such a long track record as a secularist and a critic of the BJP that on every moment he will be pointed out if he comes in the center of BJP or somewhere within the BJP, that he has a long track record in which Modi has criticized him, he has criticized the Modi. So all of a sudden to kiss and make up is not going to be easy. And therefore, I see this as a marriage of attempt. It's not even a marriage of convenience. It is a fling of convenience between Tharoor and BJP, in which Kerala matters less, Trivandrum as a constituency matters more, and Shashi Tharoor as a talented politician matters more. But it is a time for introspection in Congress because the BJP can't utilize him. The Congress won't utilize him. Therefore, the real question is, how do you handle this whole thing in a nuanced way? I hope somebody is watching from the Congress because of late, the Congress leadership is not famous for listening.
Right. Absolutely. That's a very interesting note to end our show on. Thanks so much, Madhavanji, Rahul, Easwarji, for joining us today and for sharing your thoughts. And thanks to our viewers for watching the Mojo Story. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.